Just as a forewarning, the video that you are about to watch is relatively angsty, and I apologize for that in advance. And I promise that not all of my videos on this channel are going to be angsty. So, now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the video. Yeah. Hello Justin, it's Monday, February 9th. Now before I get into the main bulk of this video, I do want to respond to your video. Now, truth be told, I don't have a lot to say, as it was mostly just kind of an introductory video, but there are two things that I would like to respond to. The first is to Megan. Hi, Megan. Now, it should be noted that I did, in fact, say hi back as I was watching the video, much like I waved back to her back in December when she appeared in that video. And the other thing that I want to say is that I did wave back to Scott as well. Now, obviously, Scott and I have never actually met, but I did wave back. Now, in your last video, Justin, you kind of sort of talked about life. And I recognize the fact that you were just rambling, because rambling is your thing, and rambling is also my thing, which is why so many of my videos are about nothing. But I, too, have something to say about life. It can be a real jerk sometimes. So in case it hasn't been painfully obvious, life has not been particularly easy on me as of late. Now, I said last week that I was getting better, and I am, but it's just not happening quite as quickly as I would like it to. You see, recently I've been feeling kind of listless in general. I've been finding it really difficult to get motivation to do pretty much anything. Of the 3 classes I'm currently taking, there's only one that I have enthusiasm for. And although it's certainly not unusual for me not to care about a class, I've done it in the past, it's just more so this semester. And while I can't say for certain why that is, I do have a theory. I think it's actually a combination of last semester's stress combined with this semester's stress. As was mentioned numerous times in my videos during Friendship 2.0, last semester, particularly the very end, was not very easy on me. I just pushed myself a little too hard, and of course other things happened, so it just wasn't very easy. Then of course there was the first 3 weeks of this semester, which just decided to kick me around a little bit more. And I honestly think it's these two things combined that has caused my apathy to raise to impressive levels. But now that that's all explained, I'm going to let you know why the first 3 weeks were difficult, because that's what I said I was going to talk about today, and I still haven't gotten to it, so I'm going to get to it now. This story actually begins at the end of last semester. Due to one class in particular, which I will talk about later, but I think that will be more for a my channel thing and not this channel thing, I decided to drop the music minor. The class that gave me problems in this regard was recital attendance, which gave me no credit hours and basically contributed nothing to my life. Except a whole lot of stress, so I decided to just drop my music minor to lessen the stress, and we all see how well that went. Now keep in mind, I went into college as a BA in theater with a music minor. With that in mind, we can skip forward to the beginning of this semester. We go back to the first week of classes, which was about 4 weeks ago now, I think. And when it first started, it wasn't too bad. I was taking 2 classes, both of which I didn't need to graduate, but that I chose to take. And I was roaming around the BG website when I stumbled upon some information. And when I say stumble upon, I do actually mean that, because the BG website is so poorly designed that if you find anything even close to information, it's basically a miracle. And I don't know how much you've had to deal with the BG website, Justin, so I don't know if you were aware of that. But it is very much an accurate statement of the BG website. But the information that I stumbled upon was that I did in fact need a minor to graduate with a BA. And it's possible that it's one of those things that's just kind of obvious, but it just never crossed my mind, and since the website is so terribly designed and they're not good at giving us the information we need, I was unaware. So needless to say, I freaked out just a tad. And that Thursday, and Thursday will be a motif in this saga, so be ready for that, I decided to go in and talk to an advisor. Because the first week of classes had walk-in advising hours, so I didn't have to sign up, I just had to go in, wait for an available advisor, and meet with them. So I did that, and the advisor let me know that in fact I could not graduate because I did in fact need a minor for the BA, in fact. Now she gave me 2 options that I could attempt so that I could actually graduate in May. The first one was most definitely not going to happen. Basically I could talk to the music advisor and replace the 2 semesters of recital attendance and then take music history, which I still needed to take, but I didn't want to put that much work into a minor that wasn't going to help me anymore. The other option was to create my own minor. But honestly, that was never going to work anyway, mostly because I, again, didn't want to put that much work into it. And also, one of the criteria for doing that I did not meet, and despite the fact that the advisor told me that in extreme circumstances they do waive that, I didn't really trust it. So these were the options for graduating in May, which is why I'm not graduating in May. So the next week on Wednesday, I met with Amy. Because Amy is spectacular and wonderful, and she can help me when I mess up. Now, I had come to the conclusion that one of the options that I could do was switch over to the BAC with a youth theater specialization and just graduate in August. And Amy and I talked about it and basically came to the conclusion that that was, in fact, the best idea to go with. And that meant that I had to sign up for a couple of communication classes. So after that meeting happened, at the end of the day, I sent out an email to one of the Communication 1020 teachers. The next morning, which, you guessed it, was a Thursday, I awoke and went to my computer and did my usual morning routines. Except, for whatever reason, I didn't check my email. Usually checking my BG email is one of the first things that I do, and I didn't this time, and, well, you'll see what happens. So about 11 o'clock, I made this realization that I didn't check my email, and I checked my email, and I got a message. I actually had two messages from the comm teacher that I had sent an email to. The first email was letting me know that she was allowing me to enter her class late, and that I had this form that I needed to fill out and give to her so she could sign it. The fun part of this was that she wanted me to meet her in her office at 12:30. Now remember, this is 11 o'clock, and it takes about 20-25 minutes to walk to campus from my house, so that didn't give me a whole lot of time. So I quickly printed off the sheet, filled it out, walked on to campus, gave her the sheet, she signed it, took it over to the admin building, and added the class. But what that meant was that my entire schedule was thrown off because I had a very specific schedule that I was going to follow that day. You may not know this about me, Justin, and it's possible other people don't know this about me, but I do actually follow a schedule. It may not look that way because I'm not always the most organized, but I do have a schedule that I like to follow. And when I cannot follow the schedule, everything just kind of gets thrown off. And that happened this particular Thursday. With the whole schedule thrown off, I was basically done, but I couldn't be. And Thursday happens to be one of my fairly busy evening days, even though I don't tend to have much in the morning and afternoon. So by the time I rolled into Chancel Choir at 7, I was ready to be done, and I still had another hour of things to do, so that was fun. But I thought that all of my problems were solved. I was signed up for the class, and all of this stuff, so everything was fine. Except, of course, it wasn't. The next day, I got an email from the insurance people telling me that I had to either sign up or waive the insurance requirement. I didn't have to do this originally because I was only at 6 credit hours, and it's only at 8 credit hours that they make you sign up for the insurance or make you waive the insurance. And because I had recently added a 3-credit class, I was now up to 9 credits. So I got this email on Wednesday letting me know that I had to do this, and that there was a form that I had to fill out and turn in if I wanted to waive it, and guess what? It was due the next day. So I printed that out, filled that information out. The next day I went to the insurance people, stood outside awkwardly for a while because there was no one sitting behind the desk, and I'm not good in social situations, and finally was able to turn in the sheet to the person there once she finally came out, and got that all settled. And then I went to the computer lab and did a few things for direction class, and then I got a call from the Bursar office. Now, mind you, I didn't know it was from the Bursar office originally. The call came through while I was at the computer lab, so it just had the number, but it was a 372 number, which is usually BGSU, so I had a feeling it was something connected to that. I left a message, I listened to it, and it was letting me know that I owed about $4,000. The thing is, I knew at this point that I would owe money, because, you know, I just added a 3-credit class, so I went from 6 to 9, so I knew I was going to have to owe money, but I was expecting to get some sort of bill before it was past due. And instead I get this call letting me know that not only do I owe money, but it's also past due, so there's a hold on my account. Now this didn't affect much of anything at the moment because I was already signed up for classes, but it was still really annoying. Now I got the call on Thursday, but I didn't actually end up being able to deal with it until Friday. And that's why I still say that Thursday was the worst day, even though Friday's the one when I actually had to deal with it, because Thursday is the one where I got the call. So I went in and talked to the Bursar people, and they said that I owed $4,000 and all that kind of fun stuff. And I talked to Mom and Dad, who both basically said I should not owe that much because I only added 3 credits, so it shouldn't be $4,000 because, You know, that's over $1,000 per credit, and that just seems ridiculous. So Mom talked to the Bursar people, figured out they had just made a mistake, big shocker, and I only owed a little over $1,000. So I went in and paid that the next week, and all that fun stuff. But those were the first 3 weeks. It was just a lot of stuff that I really didn't want to deal with, but I had to. And it was not an easy start to the semester, and I just don't think I have recovered from everything, especially after the end of last semester, which was also not easy. It's just a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry that this is going to be a really long video, and it's just me complaining about my life, but it is what it is. And I know I made this promise at the beginning of the video, Justin, but I'm going to make it here also. Not all of my videos will be like this. I'm hoping that none of my videos will be like this after this point, but I'm not going to make that promise. But again, I do want to reiterate that it is getting better. I am slowly getting over this. It's just taking longer than I would like. But I hope that you are doing well, Justin, and I will see you on Friday.